What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy Pod. We're trying this again. We did go live for like 2 seconds earlier. Had some technical difficulties. Let's just say that. But welcome back to the show. As you can see, I'm accompanied here by my host here, Slim Reaper. You can find him on X at RTR30111. You can find myself at Scotty Drown on X as well. And be sure to follow the pod on X. It's at To The Galaxy Pod on X. So make sure to give that a follow. And obviously head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. That's where we're trying to grow. That's where we're trying to build our platform. So any subscriptions, comments over on the YouTube channel are always going to help us out as far as engagement and getting this show out there to people. As you can see the comment on the screen, I went ahead over to YouTube. I commented myself.
Yes, sir.
Be sure to share your comments so we can get them on the screen. If you comment on Twitter, on X, we're not going to see them over here on StreamYard. So be sure to share your comments over on YouTube if you want to get involved in the show. As you can see, we're getting into the top 10 point guards. Slim and myself, we both have our each individual lists of our top 10 point guards in the NBA. I think it's going to get real wild in here because I feel disrespectful with some of my rankings, kind of quite honestly. But I think we'll have some fun with it. I think everybody will enjoy this. But Slim, before we get started here, man, it's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. How are you feeling, my man?
Feeling good, bro. You killed it with the intro as always. And yeah, man, feeling good. Can't complain. Excited to be here back with you again to talk about hoops. And like you said, it should definitely be interesting to, see our perspectives on things for like top 10 point guards in the NBA goes. But to Scotty's point, like make sure you guys, comment and, dive into the conversation and
Yes, sir.
give us your opinion as well. We want to see what you guys think about it too. So yeah.
Yeah, tell me if I'm crazy. You know what I mean? Talk to me.
Yeah,
Let me know
talk to
if
us,
I'm
man. Talk to us. Yeah.
We are here at a different time today, too. We're here in the afternoon. We were able to get on here a little bit earlier. If you can't catch the whole show right now, it will re-air at a later time on the To The Galaxy Pod Twitter channel or X Space. But nonetheless, let's get to it, my man. Oh, before we get to it, we want to plug next week's show. We'll be on here early next week as well, breaking down top 10 shooting guards. So it'll be kind of a top 10 series in the show to an extent to kind of fill the dead air in the NBA offseason right now. Yeah. But let's get to it, man. We're going 10-1 here as far as our top 10 point guards in the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the grace. I'm gonna let you go first.
Ah, man, really? Yeah, of course, man. Put me on the spot, but all right, man.
Who you got?
So coming in at number 10, man. Mind you, guys, this is top 10, like heading into next season, or like heading into next season. So for me, heading into next season, man, I'm gonna go with Dame Dollar. I know it may sound pretty low, but I think that Dame, he'll have a better season than he did last season for sure. I mean, obviously he was struggling. He didn't necessarily shoot the ball from the efficient standpoint, like as well as we know that he can, like 3-point range. He kind of struggled in front of the field goal. He kind of struggled, but I think next season he'll have a bounce back season for sure. That and he'll remind guys that he's still that guy. And he still got some good years left in him for sure. So I got to go with Dame Dollar coming in at number 10 at Milwaukee Bucks.
I do like the Dame pick there. I have him a little bit higher, but we'll get into that when the time comes. My number 10, for reference here, is going to be Ja Morant. He's kind of this forgotten soldier out here when it comes to guards in the NBA. This is a man that was, when he played, right, before all the issues, all the drama, all of that, he had the injury last year. He was in MVP conversations. He was leading Memphis to top seeds in the West. He was doing great things with that Memphis roster. He's obviously a great basketball player. And I do expect him to come back hungry. I think he's going to be focused. I think he's going to be ready to go when he gets back from returns from the injury next year. You look back to his 22-23 season, 26.2 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, 8 assists per game. The numbers speak for themselves. I think the only reason he is honestly this low for me is just because of recency, right? Like he didn't play much last year, so I got to give some of these other guys a little more grace, in my opinion. But Had to put him on the list just from a talent perspective. He is a top 10 guard in the NBA for my money.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that, Ja. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys tend to forget him due to the fact that he hasn't played. But if you look at the games he even played this past season when he came back,
Yeah,
I mean, the Grizzlies, they started winning games. And I think his first game back, he had that game winning layup on the Pelicans. So,
yeah,
yeah, Ja, he's special. Like, he's a special talent. And when he's on one, he's on one. So, you got to
I
acknowledge that
agree.
for sure.
I agree
And I
with
think
that.
another thing, like, keep in mind for whoever watching it, this is interchangeable. I feel like, because, guys, like, the way the league goes, like I said, I got Dame Doll at 10. He may go up to, let's say, 6 for me. It's just interchangeable at this point. So,
I
yeah.
do feel that. I do feel that, especially with guys like Dame, who it's like I know there was a lot of people calling him like washed last year. He's not washed like by
No,
any
he's not
means.
white.
Like
Not by any stretch.
he could still score the rock. Did great things from the assist column last year. Average of 7 assists in the regular season. Wasn't able to
Yeah.
stay healthy in the postseason. Maybe we see a different Dame in the postseason, and maybe he gets higher on our list if
Hmm.
he's able to perform at the level that we are used to him performing at. But I think it gets like kind of hard to grade these guys, like
Yeah.
because are we
Yeah.
grading them on talent or are we grading them on like production? Are we grading them on playoffs? Are we grading them on regular season? So
Yeah.
it's like there's a balance between all of it, man. And I kind of like I'll be very straightforward about my list here. I kind of just went with my gut and like if I was picking a team today, what order would I pick these guys in? Who would I pick to lead my team? And that's kind of how I tried to frame my mind around it. I combined like if they made some of these guys didn't even make the playoffs last year, so they don't have playoff production, right?
Yeah.
Steph, right? We'll get to Steph on this list. Didn't really, have the playoff production last year to kind of back up where we may have him on this list, but you still know that Steph is Steph. Like he's a one of
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's interesting conversation, but I'll go first with number 9. Then we'll kind of go back and forth in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 9 for me, and this feels wild to say, bro. Like I'll be honest, it feels almost disrespectful, but I do feel like this guy caught a lot of hype around the in-season tournament, the way his team competed, the way he led his team in that in-season tournament, and even the playoffs. He had some performances, but he was really inconsistent when it came to scoring and impacting the game in that sense. Even the assist numbers went a little down in the postseason. And who I'm talking about, you could probably guess.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton is
Exactly.
who I have here at number 9. Um, I think what kind of conflicts me with Halliburton is he's probably a top 2, top 3, maybe number 1 passer in the NBA when it comes to facilitating his teammates, getting the ball to the right place. It's really just his lack of aggression that showed in the postseason during certain, just like consistently is what I'm trying to say. Like, I just want to see him come out and consistently be able to go out there, give his team 20 plus points, and give his team the expected assist numbers that he usually brings. And he just didn't show that to an extent, right? Like
Yeah.
you said, this is all tough grading these guys, but
It
that's where
is.
I'm at with Halliburton. Every guy that I have ahead of him here, I guess I would say I would trust them more in the postseason. I guess that's my best way to put it for Tyrese Halliburton. But great player nonetheless. He comes in at number 9 in a tough list here.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily mad at that. I mean, I think Halliburton was kind of dealing with some injuries too, man. I think
Yeah, that's
maybe
fair.
after All Star break, if I'm not mistaken, he was dealing
Yeah,
with a serious injury. So I'm not necessarily mad at it. I mean, hey man, somebody going to get left out or somebody going to get ranked low. So it's a tough list, man. So you got to
it's the
pick your
truth.
poison. You're either going to get left out or you're going to get ranked low. So, but for
Yeah,
me, but for me coming in at number 9, I'm gonna go with Jamal Murray, man. Like going to next season, like obviously it is low, but I mean coming out this past season in the playoffs, like he hit some clutch shots. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
overall, I feel like he didn't necessarily play to the standard that we know that he can play to. Like he shot the ball not necessarily well. Like he was just struggling in the postseason as well. Like as I mentioned, he hit clutch
yeah,
shots, but he still overall was struggling. I feel like, but
You can still see his impact.
Yeah, you still see his impact. So I got him coming in at number 9, but I can see like him climbing up my list at some point. It just depends on like how things go for the Nuggets, because obviously we know they're dealing with the loss of KCP and etc. So we don't necessarily know how that team going to pan out. They still got the Joker, so they're still going to be a playoff team. I feel
gonna be
like
good, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Murray, to me, if he be better than what he was this postseason, I got him coming in at number 9 on my list heading to next season.
I do like the Murray pick. He's one of the more clutch scorers in the NBA.
Yeah,
The
for
thing that
sure.
worried me about him in the postseason was just every time he would do something crazy, he would always like pull up a little bit on his leg, right? Like you worry about the hamstring or the quad,
Yeah.
like because he's been dealing with those injuries. But aside from that, man, if he can stay healthy next season, he's going to be a top guard in the NBA for my money. So I definitely feel that. Who do you got at number 8?
Coming in at number 8, man. I got your guy Tyrese Maxey, man. Like,
woo, I'm glad he made the list. That's all I can say, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Maxey, he gonna definitely be a top guard in the NBA. I mean, you see the potential. You seen the postseason run he just had. He averaged like 27 points per game, and overall, just the career season he's had. He was a all-star. Did he win Most Improved Player?
He did, yeah.
He won Most Improved Player, and overall, I got him coming at number 8. But he's a top guard in the East for sure. But Maxey, he's going to continue to keep getting better. He's young. You see the potential. Like he wants to learn. He wants to get better. He competes on both ends. So guys like that, they always tend to strive in this league. So I got Maxey coming in at 8. Man, he had one hell of a season last season, and he's only going to get better with the addition of Paul George and others. So yeah, I got him coming in at number 8.
I love the Maxey plug there. I love it. Everybody needs to recognize Maxey as a top 10 guard now in today's NBA. So I do feel it. For me, at number 8, I have Dame Lillard coming here at number 8. So you're number 10. I have it number 8 here. It's more or less kind of based on what you said in a sense. Like I do expect him to, in a sense, bounce back, right? Like be more efficient. The numbers weren't that bad, right? Like he averaged 24 points per game,
points,
4 rebounds, 7 assists. It's the shooting numbers that we don't like there.
Yeah.
Right? The shooting splits aren't great. He puts up a lot of shots. So you just want to see him be more efficient. You hope that the Bucks staying healthy, him staying healthy, they should be able to put together something a little better this year. And hopefully we see him in the playoffs for a longer amount of time, right? I think he only played 3 or 4 games in the postseason, if that. So I think Dame bounces back this year. I think he hears the talking, right? Like I think he'll maybe not see this show, but I'm sure he's seen lists of guards that he's getting ranked, in the bottom 5. Like Dame before Milwaukee is probably a top 5 guard in the league. I don't know. I can't remember where my frame of mind was at that point, but to even be at 8, 10, that's pretty low for Dame Lillard's standard in the NBA. So I think he'll hear the noise. I think he's going to bounce back strong this year.
Yeah, for sure. Dame, another thing, he was dealing with, I think he was going through a divorce as well. So, going through that and then, first year in Milwaukee. So it's a lot, man. It's
switching teams.
Yeah, switching teams. Yeah. But another reason too, man, like Dame, he messed up a lot of my parlays too, man. So, he had to go 10 on my list, bro, because he messed up a lot of my shit, bro. I'm not going to lie to you.
I feel that, though. I feel that impacts shit. Like, when you mess with my money, I swear. It's going to impact it because I'm going to remember those moments, right? Like, where he didn't hit that expected number. So I do feel you there. Yeah. Number 7, man. And this, once again, I don't know. The whole list feels disrespectful to me. Number 7 for me, man. I have Kyrie Irving here at number 7. The reason I feel like this could be disrespectful is Kyrie is probably a top 5 talent at the guard spot, right? Like when you think about skill and what he's able to do on the court, and especially like if you're just a pure hooper, like you just love the sport, you love Kyrie Irving's game. Like I love the way Kyrie Irving plays, the smoothness of it, the fluidity of his game. It's really just the reason he gets all the way down here to 7 is because he plays with Luka Doncic, and those skills just aren't on display to the fullest extent at all times. And that's really the basis of it. I mean, he still put up great numbers last year. Don't get it wrong. Close to 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 50, 41, 91 shooting splits. Postseason, the numbers dropped a little bit. I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more consistent in the postseason as that Robin to Luka, but he did have his games, to be fair, in the postseason as well. So I went with Kyrie at number 7, man.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I mean, can't necessarily go wrong with going with Kyrie, but he didn't make my list because I've read him as a shooting guard now. Like, because Luke is the point guard in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Kyrie is a shooting guard to me now, but I love the pick. I'm not necessarily mad at that, but a trade just broke down, bro. So I mean, I don't know.
We should have ironed that out before we started this. The shooting guard, point guard, because I was going off of ESPN what they have him listed as, right? But in this case, they probably do list Kyrie under shooting guard.
Yeah, they list him as a shooting guard. Yeah, he's listed as a shooting guard. But a trade just happened, man. I don't know if you want to talk about it or.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on?
So the Clippers are sending Russell Westbrook to the Jazz for a second-round pick, and for Chris Dunn, but Westbrook is expected to agree on a contract buyout with the Jazz, and he will join the Denver Nuggets. So
the Nuggets.
So Westbrook going to the Nuggets.
Interesting. That'll be a decent fit.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a decent fit, honestly. With Jokic and Jamal Murray, he could start on that team.
I was going to say he could actually start on that team, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. I think he could start alongside Jamal Murray. You got Jokic out there can shoot the 3 ball. Michael Porter Jr. can shoot the 3 ball. And obviously
Gordon,
Jokic,
lob threat.
Gordon, yeah. I think that'll be interesting. That's a good fit for Russ. I think he'll look good in a fresh start. Kind of get out of that toxicity in LA in a sense, and go to an organization, where they kind of know what they're doing over there in Denver. So I do like that. Chris Dunn to the Clippers, though, right?
Yeah, he going to the Clippers. Yeah,
that's a solid pickup. He played pretty well last year as well. So I mean, they get a decent replacement along with the second round pick. Yeah, that's interesting. Breaking during the show. That's what happens when you go live midday. That's the type of stuff that can happen, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Russ Westbrook to the Nuggets, man. We'll see. We'll wait and see if it gets finalized and completed.
Yeah.
If he actually makes it to Denver, but seems like that is the legit plan here. But man, where were we at? We were at 7. I think you're 7.
Yeah, it's my 7. So for me, coming in at number 7, I got Ja Morant. I feel like he gonna have a bounce back season heading into next season. He got a lot on his mind as far as like a lot of things people been saying and guys that's ranked above him or whatever. So he's gonna try to go out there and prove the doubters wrong, as well as get the city of Memphis their trust back in him. Like he's their franchise guy, and that they can trust in him and believe in him to be available to play games and not get into any trouble and things like that. So he's definitely going to have a lot of things on his mind to go out there and get done. So I got him coming in at number 7 for sure.
I do like that. I think Ja Morant, man, like it really just it depends like where you want to put him. Like obviously didn't play that much last year. But I guess I would ask you this, like based on potential, where would you say that like Ja Morant, if he reaches his ceiling this year, could get on this list? Like if he hits his ceiling, he has an all-star year, gets Memphis into the postseason, how high do you think he could climb on this list for you?
Man, if I'm being honest, definitely between 3 and 4. Like
3 and 4.
His potential is high, man. Like he has a lot of potential.
I do. I honestly feel that. I really do. Because there's a couple guys on this list that I have above him right now that I could see him, if he has a full healthy season, no trouble, like you said, the production, he could surpass a couple of these guys. So I definitely feel that. Who's your number 6?
So for me, I got Tyrese Halliburton coming in at number 6.
Okay. Respect for Hallie.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Halliburton. I like his game, pass first guy. Always looking to get his teammates involved. But I think next year He'll definitely be more aggressive, looking for his own shot, opposed to just looking for his teammates and then going to get his. But I think he'll do a better job of like mixing out the both of that, like look for his teammates and then look for
Yeah,
his own shot. So yeah, I can
finding those
see him
spots.
going out there and averaging like 22, maybe 23 points per game. If he do that, then that Pacers team they'll take another leap. I feel like they brought
Yeah.
back Siakam, Obi Toppin, and other key pieces. So yeah, I got Halliburton coming in at number 6.
I do. I obviously love Halliburton. I had him down at 9. Like I said, I felt like that was disrespectful because I know how great of a passer and even a 3-point shooter that he can be.
Yeah, he can shoot.
Um, yeah, if he does get into that 22, 23 point range, 24, in that range, I think that does elevate him into that top 5, like in that category, close to it at least, right? Because his passing game is like better than almost anybody on this list, quite honestly. So,
Yeah, so
um,
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. I think that is the next way for him to improve, develop, and grow as a player is kind of just picking his spots a little bit better, right? Like to be more consistent. Another full season with Siakam too. Like I think they'll be able to
Yeah,
build
for sure.
chemistry and be a little bit better of a pair as well. So I do like the pick there. Number 6 for me, man. I went like I said, this list feels disrespectful. I went De'Aaron Fox at number 6, man. Um, obviously didn't get the Kings into the postseason last year. Maybe that takes. I try not to take points off for that. It's not necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
But maybe just not seeing him in the postseason naturally detracts a little bit from him. But once again, this is like a top 5, top 3 talent when he's peaking, when he's at his ceiling. Um, 26 points per game, close to 5 rebounds, a little over 5 assists per game, 47, 37, 74 splits. The big thing for me is the improved 3-point shooting. Makes
Right.
him so much harder to guard. Like
It
it makes
does,
him
man. It
ridiculous
does.
to guard with his speed, getting out on the break, and then the pull-up ability. He has a great mid-range jump
Yeah, he
shot as
did. I
well.
was just gonna say, like, his ability to
Yeah.
stop on a dime, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's
man.
so
I went back and forth between him and my next guy on this list. So I might like feel like I don't know when we make the graphic, I might have Fox at number 5 for all
nah,
I know.
man.
But for now, we gonna lock in with the way I have the list, man. I got De'Aaron Fox at number 6.
Yeah, so number 6. So who I had at number 6? Did I have Halliburton at 6?
I
Yeah, I had
think so.
Halliburton.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had
yeah.
Halliburton. Okay, so I mean, I ain't mad at that. I mean, you got him at 6. I got Darren Fox at 5. So I mean, you
Okay.
said it for all the right reasons. I mean, like it wasn't necessarily his fault that they missed the playoffs, but I mean,
Yeah,
he shot a career high on 3 pointers, 37%, like you said. And I love the distance of them going out there and getting DeMar DeRozan. I feel like Darren Fox, he would be willing to play off the ball and he can make teams
yeah,
pay due to the fact that he just had a career shooting year from 3 point range. I'm sure that he'll be pretty effective playing off the ball too. So, and I feel like he'll take another leap as well heading into next season. So, I got Darren Fox coming in at number 5. In that post I made on X yesterday, I think I may have left his name off of my top 10 players I like to watch in the NBA. Man. Now that I think about it, I feel kind of bad because it's like, man, Darren Fox is like probably my second favorite guard in the West behind Steph.
yeah.
And for me not to put his name on there, it's like, damn, what am I thinking about? But most
I
of those
feel you.
names, most of those names I put on that list were just coming out the top of my head. Like, okay,
Off the top of the
yeah,
dome, man. Like I know that's exactly, and I can't even remember who I put on there yesterday. Like,
yeah,
but Fox is up there for me as well. So if I didn't put him on there when I
yeah,
reposted your tweet, yeah, I agree. Fox is one of my favorite players to watch, and he always hits the parlays, man.
man, he does.
He
Yeah, Darren
covers
Fox.
his end of the parlay, man. I
Yeah,
swear, he
he's
covers.
he's clutch too, man. They added DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan, so they got 2 clutch players on their team, man. So yeah, but I got Darren Fox coming in at number 5, man. Shout out D Fox.
I like the pick. I like the pick. This one, and the reason I said this about number 5 for me is
Oh
because I
man,
know there's bias. I know that I have bias here, and I'm admitting it ahead of it.
yeah.
I have Tyrese Maxey, bruh. I have
Yeah,
Tyrese
okay,
Maxey at
okay,
number 5 right
okay.
here. You mentioned it, most improved player, first time All-Star last year. Definitely made the improvements in the postseason. I did want to correct you from earlier. Only played one series in the postseason against the Knicks, but he did average 29.8 points per game, so close to 30 points per game against the New York Knicks. Going to head-to-head with Jalen Brunson, which was incredibly impressive to me, given Tyrese Maxey's age and Jalen Brunson obviously being one of the best scorers in the NBA from the point guard position. But it wasn't just the close to 30 points in the postseason. It was the close to 7 assists, 6.8 assists per game. The 48, 40, and 89 shooting splits in the postseason. So what it told me is that Maxey is ready for the big moments. He's gonna hit. He had the big shot, I believe, is in Game 4 to win that game and send us back to Philly. I believe it was in New York, and he sent us back to Philly.
Yeah.
And so, like, just seeing him in that moment, seeing how he grew this season, I think is ultimately what's sticking in my head. And once again, this isn't a detriment to De'Aaron Fox for not making the postseason. It's just that the moments from Tyrese Maxey in the postseason are what are sticking in my head right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Put him up at the number 5 spot. But yeah, do I really know if De'Aaron Fox, like if Tyrese Maxey is better than De'Aaron Fox? It's close. I mean, they have a very similar game. I think Tyrese shoots the ball from 3 a little bit better, but De'Aaron's a little bit better from mid-range finishing. So it's a close one there between those two, both Kentucky guards. So I guess you can't go wrong. If you're a Kentucky fan, I'm probably not pissing you off too much, but that's what I got at number 5, man. You want me to go next? I can give you my 4, and then we can go back to you for 4.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, bet. So it was a guy I already mentioned, Jalen Brunson's who I have coming in here at number 4. Really, it was the postseason. I mean, he had a great regular season as well. He got up there in MVP voting. But it was the postseason performance, especially what he was able to do against the Sixers while he was healthy. I know he got beat up in that second round. I think it was who played Indiana?
The Pacers.
In the second round, he got injured, so they ended up losing that series. They had a bunch of injuries, but nonetheless, him in the postseason, man, 32 points per game in the postseason from the guard spot. He's not your typical, like, great NBA guard these days. He is undersized. He isn't the fastest. He is quick, right? He's one of the quicker guards in the league, but I think he is just kind of a magician in the way he plays, the way he can finish in the lane, get and ones. There is some foul baiting in there, but that's part of the game these days. If you can do that well, it's almost a skill in a sense in my eyes to be able to draw fouls. So, yeah, I went with Jalen Brunson here at number 4, a top 5 point guard there.
Yeah, I think from here on out we can pretty much agree with everything, but you could put that comment or somebody said I agree with Brunson baller. But yeah, I got Brunson coming in at number 4 as well. I mean, he ranked 4th in the league in scoring, coming off a career year, 28.7 points per game. He played in 77 regular season games. Just the overall career year, he shot 40% from 3-point range in regular season. So, yeah, man, Jalen Brunson, I feel like he's only going to get better from here. I mean, he just did something that most franchise players don't do, and that's took a massive pay cut to help better the team out long term. So shout out to him for doing that. But like for all the right reasons you said, like his run in the postseason was pretty special as well. Like being a typical like undersized guard and do what he does. Like he can post you up too. Like we don't normally see like 6'1" guys who does that too often. So yeah, I got JB coming in at number 4 as well, man.
I like it. Obviously, we matched there. Who's your number 3? Who do you got at number 3? Start the top 3 here.
Who I got at number 3? All right, man. So at number 3, I got SGA, man. Okay. He ranked 3rd in scoring, 30 points per game. I mean, talk about the season they had. They was the number 1 seed, correct? If I'm not mistaken. I think they were the number 1 seed. Yeah.
I think they did sneak away with it.
Yeah. So I mean, going into that season, I'm pretty sure most guys. I know I didn't have them being the number 1 seed. I probably had them making the postseason overall, but I definitely had them being the number 1 seed in the lower Western Conference. So shout out to SGA for leading those guys and to the postseason. They got a lot of young, nice players over there. Yeah. SGA came off a hell of a season, All-Star, All-NBA. So it's only right that I bring him in at number 3. Like obviously could have been number 2, but like you said, it's that bias thing that I can't get out of me. So Hey man, SGA coming in for me at number 3, man.
I like it. I like it. I think these top three, man. I personally think they could go in any order, depending on what you like in your basketball player. But I did go with your boy at number 3, Steph. I decided to let the young guns take a step
Yeah, I
ahead
ain't
and
mad
get the
at
1
it.
and
I
2
ain't mad
spot.
at it, man.
Like I said, it feels a little disrespectful to Steph. Like I know once again, I'm not trying to penalize him for like not getting the chance to shine in the postseason, but it did play a little bit of a factor when you look at the other two guys here. His numbers, obviously, they're not like up there with these other two guys, but he did play a few less minutes last season. I think there was a little bit of preservance there. But nonetheless, still efficient 45, 41, 92 splits, 26 points per game, 5 assists per game, close to 5 rebounds per game. He's still putting up numbers. I just want to see the Warriors kind of bounce back this year. And I do expect them to start competing and get back into that playoff picture in the Western Conference. So it'll be interesting to see if Steph can, kind of lead the way there and get them back up into the top of the West and competitive with those Western Conference contenders. But I did go with Steph below the young guns here on the list, bro. But I don't know. Do you want to just go 2-1 real quick here and kind of finish it out that way? And then we can talk about some guys that maybe didn't make the list.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, I don't see why not.
You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You can finish your list after I do, man.
All
But
right,
it's
cool.
obvious, like who's number
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
I'll give you clear cut. Luca came in at number 2 for me. SGA came in at number 1. I know that
Oh
might not
wow.
be popular. I know
Oh
it might
wow.
not be. Luca, obviously, I'm fine with him being number 1 on anybody's list. He puts up the numbers. Took his team to the finals. He did do that this season. I think for me with putting SGA over Luca, one, I'm projecting where SGA is going to be next year. Another season, intertwined with that OKC roster, an improved roster, added Isaiah Hartenstein to fulfill that center position beside Chet. I just think he has another level to reach as a playmaker as well in that roster, and I do think he's going to reach it. But obviously, he can put up 30 points per game in his sleep. He averaged that in the postseason, or no, he did average 30 points per game in the postseason, averaged 30 points per game in the regular season as well. In the postseason, his numbers upticked to 7 rebounds, 6 assists per game. The shooting splits were great, 50, 43, and 79 shooting splits in the postseason. The big thing for me, that 43% from the three-point line, shooting the three ball efficiently as SGA is deadly. But I don't want to like sit here and like undersell Luca. I think it's just more the skill set and the way SGA plays that appeals to me, and the way I would want my point guard to kind of play in the closing moments of games, different situations like that. But I do think it's more my preference than what is reality in a sense. I will admit that.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head for all the right reasons. So for me, coming in at number 2, man. Wait, hold up. Oh yeah, at number 2, I got my guy Steph coming in at number 2, man. I feel like next season, like it's going to be weird not seeing Clay on the team, but I feel like Steph going to remind people that, hey, man, I'm still him, and I still got a lot of good years left in the tank. So I feel like he'll go out there and just show guys like we can still win and compete with the best of them. And I'm going to be a major reason why. So I got Steph as a top 2 point guard in the NBA heading to next season. And number 1, man, I got Luca. I feel like he'll take another leap for sure. I mean, it's crazy. Like Luca, he's been in the league for like what 7 seasons now, 6, 7 seasons.
Has it been that long, man? Damn, time flies. But you might be right. Let me just double check here. Yeah, this will be his 7th season. You're correct.
Yeah, so I feel like Luca heading to a 7th season will definitely take another huge leap from a standpoint of just locking in defensively as well. Like he's shown the potential to be like a pretty good team defender, but I feel like next season he'll take like that initiative to like, okay, I'm going to lock in and not be a con on defense because you've seen what happened in the NBA Finals. Like Luka was like he was the target for JB and Tatum. Like
Yeah.
they wanted him on the
And see, I
island.
think
So
that like stuck in my head to an extent. Like seeing that in the finals, maybe I'm not giving him enough credit for leading them to the NBA finals in
yeah, because
itself,
leading,
right?
yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy task leading a team to the NBA finals for sure.
Yeah.
Because he was the best player on the Mavericks. Like Kyrie, he struggled like crazy. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man,
If
I
he
got
can get into
Luka.
shape, man, if he can get into
Yeah,
shape, he can be the best player in the league easily.
yeah, he can for sure. I mean, Luka, he just makes the game look so easy, and he plays at his pace, and he got high IQ, and he can score with the best of them. So. Yeah, man, I got Luka Doncic coming in at #1. Shout out to
Oh
Luka though
man.
for leading the Mavericks to the finals, man. That shit ain't easy.
Yeah. I feel it, especially in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Like the Minnesota series definitely showed a lot because I did have Minnesota after they beat Denver. I had them going to the finals, and the Mavericks showed out, right? So definitely got to give Luka his credit. I'm not taking any shots at him. I'm excited to see SGA and this Oklahoma City Thunder team this year, but should be excited about all of these guys. Quite honestly, every guy on this list is one of the best in the league. Not only when it comes to point guards, but you're talking about a lot of these guys are top 30 players in total, right? So
Yeah.
maybe half of this list you could probably put in your top 30 across the league. So maybe even more, honestly, as I look at it. But some honorable mentions. So you did have Jamal Murray on your list. You had him at number 10, right?
#9, actually. Yeah,
Number
#9.
nine. Number 9. My bad. Jamal Murray did not make my list, but I did agree with all your points. I think he's one of the more clutch bucket getters in the NBA. I think I may have just penalized him a little bit on the regular season performance and just the worries around the injuries, the leg injuries specifically. That creates a little bit of inconsistency there, but still want to give him shout out nonetheless from my end. Cade Cunningham. Do you consider Cade Cunningham a point guard? The only reason I ask this, he wouldn't have made my list anyways. He is listed as a point guard on the ESPN app. So that is what I was going by. But I do expect Cade Cunningham to have, I don't want to say like a breakout. See, he's already putting up good numbers. It's just maybe he gets Detroit out of like the last place team in the Eastern Conference, right? I do expect an uptick for him, but how do you feel about Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, I feel like the Pistons got a pretty solid team over there. They may make the play in. It just depends, but I feel I read Cade as a point guard. I mean, he's their point guard.
He's a
He
playmaker.
yeah
Yeah.
he initiates the offense for them and he brings the ball up. So he's their point guard. So yeah, but I feel like Cade can take a leap next season. I don't see why not. I mean, every season he's played, he's only getting better. So
Yeah.
I don't see why that would stop next season. So yeah, I can see Cade taking like a leap next season for sure.
23
Um,
points last year, close to 8 assists.
um,
Yeah.
a few other man.
Solid.
I see none of us had
Yeah.
Trey Young neither, man. I mean, what are
Yo,
what are your thoughts on Trey?
yeah, it's crazy you say that, man. Because like I was like making my list, and he was a complete afterthought. Honestly, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I think that's just where
Stop the cap, man.
optics. I think that's where optics has taken the view of his game. It's not that I don't view him as a good player. He just, I don't know. I guess he's just forgettable at this point down there in Atlanta, and it's almost like he needs a fresh start somewhere else to kind of revamp his brand in a sense.
Yeah,
But he does fill the stat sheet, like he does. Like I
yeah,
think he averaged like 25 and close to
he's in
10
the
assists last year.
yeah he's an elite playmaker. Like I think he averaged
Yeah.
like 10 or 11 assists. So
Why
yeah,
didn't you have him
man.
on your list? Just
Took
did he slip your mind, or like would he have made your list maybe if you thought about it sooner, or was it just him flat
well,
out not making it?
I feel like the other guys that was on my list, I feel like they were more worthy in a sense.
Yeah,
As
they
far as
play
like
defense too.
heading into next season, it just I don't know with Trey. Like I don't even know if he's gonna be playing for the Hawks or not. I don't even know what direction they're looking to head in. I mean, they traded Murray for practically nothing. I mean, they didn't get like Brandon Ingram in return or nothing. So yeah, man, it's just tough to say. But like Trey Young, he has potential. At one point, I'm sure he
Yeah,
was in the conversation like a top 10 guard, top 7 guard in the
yeah,
NBA. But
yeah,
it's just other guys like have just gotten better, like Brunson. Halliburton, Maxey, Darren Fox. I feel like those guys have established themselves more so than Trae Young as of right now. So yeah, but it's a lot of more names too. Like I don't think none of us mentioned. Let's see, Darius Garland. Like, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he disappointed me last season. Especially when Spider went down. I wanted to see him kind of step up. He would have the ball in his hands a little bit more. He did have a game in the postseason. I'll give him that credit. He did have a game in the postseason. I believe it was against Boston, where he performed really well. But I just want to see more from him, honestly, as the guy besides Spider. I know Spider gets a lot of the scoring duties, but I do want to see Garland kind of assert himself more within that duo. But to your point, like being a point guard per se, he's in the conversation, right? Like he would be in the. Where would he be for me? I mean, I'm probably taking Cade Cunningham over him.
Okay,
like that's probably where I'm at with Garland. Like Cade Cunningham, Jamal Murray, Trae Young. Probably taking Trae Young over him too. I don't know. It is tough.
Yeah, I'd take Trae Young over Garland. Yeah, I'd take Trae over Garland. Yeah.
What were Garland's numbers last year? Let me get it pulled up here.
I think Darius.
So 18 points, 6.5 assists, close to 3 rebounds. He shot 45% from the field, 37% from 3, 83% from the line. I don't know. He just didn't he didn't wow me. And I feel like he's a player that should be able to. So maybe I'm discrediting him too much. But yeah, I think he would probably be in like the 16, 17 range for me, most likely. I don't know, maybe a little bit higher, top 15, maybe. So I don't know. How do you feel about him compared to like a guy like Drew Holiday, for example?
Oh man,
that's tough, right?
It is. I mean, if you want
Drew Holiday could have been top 10 for his defensive purposes alone. Yeah, like he is one of the best on-ball defenders.
Yeah, I was gonna say like for us, like winning now impact. I feel like you would obviously go with Drew Holiday, but I feel like based off upside, I feel like Darius Garland. I would go with Darius. Like
I feel that
from the potential standpoint, because I do feel like he will get better as time progresses. But
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about this one. This one's kind of crazy. LaMelo Ball.
Damn, I forgot about him. I ain't gonna lie. I forgot about him.
He's an interesting guy.
That's crazy, man. Like, damn, I forgot about LaMelo.
He averaged 24 points per game last year, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Only played 22 games, 43, 35, 87 shooting splits for LaMelo Ball last year in 22 games. So I don't know. That's tough. He's one of the more talented ones. I guess
he is
more about his mindset, I guess, in a sense. But
yeah, he's very talented for sure. But when he is on one, he is on one. But he's been getting injured as of late, right? Like
yeah,
he's been battling injuries. So
because the last 2 seasons, actually, that's a good point. He's only played what 50.
Yeah, he
58 games.
He played 22 games this past season,
and 36 the year before.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Just needs to play more.
He just got to play more and put his name out there, man. Because he's definitely a special talent for sure. I mean, what are your thoughts?
It's funny, man. There's a go ahead.
What are your thoughts on Tyler Hero though? Like, do you view him as a point guard?
He was listed as a point guard. To be fair, he wouldn't have made like my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of view him more as a shooting guard, though.
That's fair.
I don't know. How do you feel? Like, do you view him as a point guard?
I kind of don't, but I think he is the Miami Heat starting point guard now.
Like he's listed as it. Like sometimes Jimmy brings up the ball.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I know they got Terry Rozier. I don't know if the both of them start together, but I think he is the Heat point guard. So
he is. Yeah, he's listed as a point guard for sure, which is almost. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at the list of shooting guards once we go that route,
Yeah,
because
it's a lot, man. Because you can make a lot of arguments that a lot of shooting guards are point guards, and a lot of point guards are shooting guards, like
right,
Dejounte Murray and
James
you know,
Harden.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about your boy James Harden? Sixers legend. Like, why he didn't, make your top 10 or like, do you have him top 15, top 20?
Man, he's such a good passer, yo. Honestly, he's such a like. I talk about Halliburton, like James Harden
Yeah,
is
I,
probably
I will say this though, like
the top two passer
obviously,
in the NBA.
obviously, you and
Like,
James Harden has had your issues, but you
yeah,
have always given him his props for being like a phenomenal passer. So
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I loved what he did with Maxey and Joel Embiid. Like, to see he had great times in Philadelphia. It wasn't all bad. Like, I don't view James Harden like I view like a Ben Simmons, for example. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, or a
yeah.
Tobias
Oh,
Harris.
come on, man! I thought it was done with this, man. Like, come on, man. We can't be keep bringing Tobias' name up. I thought you was finna say Al Horford to the same point.
Oh, Al Horford might be on a different level. Honestly, I can't
Oh
stand
wow!
that mother sucker.
Oh
But
wow!
um,
Yeah,
man, it's weird because the ESPN app does have James Harden listed as a shooting guard,
shooting
but I
guard.
know he does play the point guard. Like, I
Yeah,
know
he
I know what you
does.
mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about CJ McCollum? Like, is he a
He's a
you know?
two guard for me because he's more of like the scorer
Okay.
in my eyes.
Okay.
Man, I'm just wondering if James Harden would be like top 10 for me, man.
As far as scoring the ball, he has taken a decline in that area, but
Yeah.
he still can pass the hell out of the ball. I will say that.
He probably wouldn't. Yeah, like, am I putting James Harden over Ja Morant, even coming back off the suspension and injury?
At this stage of his career, man, I don't know if I'd do that.
Nah, I don't think so.
I,
Like
I will say this.
Halliburton,
I feel like Harden, because the way the Clippers are currently constructed, he is the second option because you got Kawhi and then
yeah,
Harden. So I feel like he will be more like aggressive offensively, looking to score the ball more
that's true.
opposed to
Paul George is gone.
yeah, Paul George gone. So
He'll have to score a little bit more. James Harden's interesting, man. Like, cause it's funny if I grouped him with the shooting guards, he probably would make my top 10.
hmm
Yeah, he would make my top 10 if I pinpointed him as a shooting guard. Because I mean, there's only about four guys that I'm seeing here. I mean, I'll have to dig in a little bit deeper than that, but there's about
yeah.
four guys that I would say, maybe only even three. Now that I'm really looking at it, might be three guys. Like, if we did a combo of shooting guard and point guard together,
Yeah.
there's probably only three guys on this list of shooting guards that's going to make my top 10 if we combine these lists together. Like, the rest would be point guards. So
Yeah, I feel that.
it is interesting. That list is going to be pretty interesting to see who we cut and who we add on to there. But did you have anything else for us, man? That's all I got for us today. But is there any other guys that come to your mind when we're talking about point guards?
I mean, yeah, I feel like Kobe White. I feel like he's going to take another leap next season
That's a
as
good
well.
name, because he obviously took a leap this year. He was in talks for most improved player this season. Obviously, Maxey just went nuclear at a certain point, but
Yeah.
Kobe White is a guy that was right there. I think he's a good guy to put in that honorable mention spot
hmm
because
Yeah.
he very well could be, top 15, top 16 ish,
Okay.
as a point guard, and he should get a bigger role with Chicago next year as well.
Yeah, for sure. Even Colin Sexton, I feel like he had a pretty good season.
He deserves
Uh,
some credit
yeah,
for
he
sure.
does. Even Fred Van Vliet, like he averaged like
Down
what
in Houston.
17 points. Um, I think he led that team in blocks per game. So I mean, that's to be a 6 foot guard and leading your team in blocks. I mean, that says a lot. So
If you go by playoffs, I mean, you could go Derek White. And
yeah,
I know,
Derek.
like, Drew Holiday does play the point for them for the most part, but they do have Derek White listed here at
Yeah,
point
I
guard
was
as
gonna
well.
say they actually had both of those guys listed as the same position as a
Yeah.
point guard. So
Garland.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it that I see. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I think Jaden Ivey, he'll be better. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much
Jaden
it.
Ivey's a good one.
Is Emmanuel quickly a point guard to you or a shooting guard?
They don't. They have him listed as a shooting guard, but he has the size of a point guard. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Quickly is right there. Like quickly, maybe could make my top 10. Maybe like off the top of my head.
No expectations down there in Toronto. So
for shooting guard, he could maybe make my top 10 for shooting guard. That's interesting, man.
I feel like he can average 20 this season.
I do too, man. I think there's a couple guys like that. Like you mentioned, Jaden Ivey. He was right there. 15 points per game. Fred VanVleet, another year with Houston. Does he get a little bit more comfortable, or does Jalen Green kind of step up and take the lead there even further? Right. D'Angelo Russell right there with 18 points per game last year.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have a great reputation.
Yeah, Lakers fans, bro. Lakers fans despise this guy so much, bro. It's
right. It makes me like not believe in him with how much they despise him. But 18 points, 6 assists last year. What did he shoot from the 3-point line?
41%.
41%. Yeah. So I don't know. They did. Lakers fans did not like him that much. Yeah. They want him traded. So
yeah, they want him traded.
That's why I didn't even give him much thought. But a ton of honorable mentions for the point guard list. I don't think we're gonna have that many honorable mentions for the shooting guard list, but we'll see, because I guess it does kind of get mid after the first 3 or 4. In a sense, they kind of even out a little bit. But
yeah,
it'll be interesting as these lists keep on coming. We're gonna go in order from here on out. So next week we'll do top 10 shooting guards, along with any other news. If any trades break down during the show, we'll break those down too. Before then, we'll get into whatever is relevant at that time, but we'll also bring back the top 10 shooting guards. We'll be posting our lists on social media, on X, TikTok, on the To The Galaxy Pod pages. So be sure to follow there. Let us know in the comments there if you didn't get a chance on the show here. But yeah, this was fun, man. This will re-air. If you missed any part of the episode, it will re-air. We're waiting on the To The Galaxy Pod to get verified on Twitter, and then we can stream it to there, and that's exactly when it will re-air. So it could be later today, maybe tomorrow. Turn the notifications on. You'll be notified as soon as it's going live. But for myself, for Slim, that is all we have here. Be sure to give my man Slim Reaper a follow at RTR30111. You can find myself on X at Scotty Drown, and of course, follow the pod at To The Galaxy Pod on X and on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for viewing, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, peace.
Peace, everybody.